If you want some place that will take you out of whatever stresses and pressures you have in other parts of life, this can bring you out of that to focus on growing things. With the right attitude, it can be rejuvenating, relaxing. The cycles of nitrogen cycles and carbon cycles, and it's very intellectually stimulating for me. All of that stuff, it's part of an outlet of things that I teach and learn all the time, I get to do. I've been teaching on Zoom, and sometimes I teach from home, and I'm in this little corner with a green screen behind me, and I tell my husband, who also works from home, I'm like, let's get out of the house, let's go to the garden. And this is just the place to go to get out of the house.
Since we've had this community garden plot, this has probably been a larger part of our time out together than anything else. Gardening has always been something that I've enjoyed. It's a place to go and get away from all of the grind. When we come here, it's just about growing plants and improving the soil and putting in irrigation like I'm doing today. It was a year ago today was the last time I was interviewed on camera. Yeah, right over here. Because a year ago, like right now, was when they were evacuating all of the school from the shooting.
I teach at Saugus High, where actually a year ago today we had a shooting and 3 students died. At the time, it was just a lot of shock and survival. I was in my room preparing for the day when I didn't hear shots because my room was too far away from the quad, but I heard 200 kids maybe running past my windows out the back gate, and I knew something was wrong even before the all call for lockdown came. The hardest part was that my son had a first period in the band room down by where the shooting was, and so I knew that some kids were outside practicing that morning because I had heard them, and so I didn't know if he was safe. And for about 45 minutes he was not answering his phone because they didn't want buzzing, and everybody turned off their phone, which is the right thing to do, but then as a parent, you're panicking, where's my kid? Within about 10 or 15 minutes after lockdown, I had a sheriff outside my window with their assault rifles because they didn't know at the time that the shooter had killed himself as well. And then after that, it's a state of shock, being escorted out of buildings with sheriff and being evacuated here. The teachers and the administrators were trying to help our kids, but we're also not okay ourselves. What they did was, any student who was an eyewitness in the quad where it happened, they took them aside, and the students could be here in this beautiful place trying to calm down until they were interviewed. So the garden served a really wonderful purpose that day.
Yeah, it was really surreal. It's hard to take something in like that. It's anybody who's ever been in a car crash or had a car stolen or something really unexpected. Your day's going on just like any other day, and then all of a sudden something happens, and you can kind of go, okay, well, this is going to make everything different for years. This is a line of demarcation. School violence was already a kind of low-level source of anxiety because there have been these school shootings going on. But when something like this actually happens, our son not sleeping well, the anxiety and stress and paranoia they're just kind of part and parcel with something that traumatic happening. So it's still obviously a part of all of our lives. My wife and our son, much more than myself. It's something you'll never forget, and not in a great way. Gardening has always been something that I've enjoyed, and so to have a place to just go and spend some hours and just get lost in something that's fulfilling, something that, you know, we grow things here, we take them home, we make salads, we, you know, store up our onions and use them in all of our recipes, and it's our little 20 by 10 foot houseboat, you know, our little garden here where we can kind of shove off and just enjoy ourselves.
The garden was a place I could just come and focus on the earth and the soil and plants and sort of get my head out of my head. You know, I'm a spiritual person, so I believe that it's part of God's creation that helps us through some of the hard parts of life. The regeneration of growth, the living soil, the stability of soil and plants and how life regenerates. You know, that's part of the philosophy of why gardens are important.